Excited for you to be joining. I'm thrilled that Nima Moraveji has decided to take us through this guided meditation today. Nima has been a friend of UXP International for a long time. He was our keynote back in, it was 2015 in San Diego, Coronado. He is more known for being the co-founder of Spire Health, which I'm sure most of you have heard of, but it's a wearable to track and influence your activity and your state of mind. He's also the director, I think you're still the director of the Calming Technology Lab at Stanford. Yeah, and teaching a popular class called Designing Calm at the Stanford Design Lab. So we are thrilled to have him and to have some of his time today to take us through this, during this kind of stressful time for everybody, no matter what your situation is. It's just different and it's new to all of us. So I thought we could use a nice break, and I couldn't think of anybody better to help us with that than Eva. So I'm gonna hand you the mic now.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah. Appreciate it. Well, welcome to everybody. I appreciate you guys taking the time to join us and go in this experiment together. This is an experiment. Normally in these kind of webinars, they're professional in nature, they're practical, they're perhaps theoretical, and the goal is to give you some knowledge to improve your professional practice. And we could have done that today, but I think it's just as valuable to do something a bit different and to get some perspective on our own lives and our own careers, our own practices in this situation that we're all in together in right now. So the learning objectives for this abbreviated session they're going to be partially experiential, because we're going to experience something. I'm going to guide each of us into an experience, and also intellectual, so that there is an experiential understanding and practice, and also something intellectual that you can bring back to improve your professional lives and your living situation. And it will be very personalized to you. I really want some practical outcomes to come out of this for each of us. So how we're going to do that is, on the first side, we're going to I'm going to guide us into a state of calm, where we can be aware of different thoughts, emotions, sensations, and allow ourselves to be aware of things that are normally, a little bit latent in our minds. So kind of greater awareness. And then also we're going to do an activity in that calm state where we can make some practical improvements and changes potentially to our lives. So we'll do those. We'll do both of those. We're actually do a user experience professional activity, one that we're all familiar with, but we probably have never used in this way. And it's going to be the first time we've ever done this. It's a big experiment that we're doing here, and I would love feedback from you guys about how it worked or how it didn't work. So we're gonna get a bird's eye view. So when you're hiking or you're walking through nature, and you see a hill, a big hill or a mountain, and you are looking at it and it looks beautiful just from where you are on the ground. But then there's also this view that you get from being on top of that mountain. That's also beautiful in a different way. And we, all of us, I'm sure, have experienced that feeling of saying, oh, that's a beautiful mountain or hill, and then taking the energy and the discipline to walk all the way up it just to get a view, just to get a different perspective of where we were. that's what we're going to do today. So I can't really explain to you what it's going to look like. You just sometimes need to just trust and have the discipline to do the work to get up that hill, knowing that when you do, there's going to be something rewarding at the top. Something that you could never have seen from below, even if someone described it to you. It's just, you have to do it yourself. Okay, so just so you guys have a little bit of context, my background is in human-computer interaction and user experience. I did the HCI master's degree at CMU, and then I went into research in HCI and ended up doing a PhD at Stanford on, I went in looking at learning technologies and educational technologies, but ended up transitioning to this kind of health, personal health, mental health, cognitive emotional health, new technologies from an HCI perspective. And that led me to start Spire Health. And now we do remote patient monitoring around chronic disease patients, respiratory patients, and my roles really transitioned into doing clinical trials, human subject studies. It's been an interesting ride, but this kind of cognitive emotional health, using technology for improved focus, managing stress, having management over our cognitive emotional state, in the same way that, you know, pedometers and Fitbits help us manage our physical activity. How can we use technology to do the same for our cognitive and emotional health? That's been my focus, and I continue to work on that. So that's just in giving you a little bit of background, so you know that I'm coming into this conversation thinking about HCI and user experience tools and the profession, as well as my scientific background around cognitive emotional health. And we use respiration, breathing sensors, breathing data. And so I've got a whole bunch of experience around using breathing data and breathing technologies to improve how we live day to day, how we manage our state of mind. So I know it's a sensitive time for all of us, and I think each of us are experiencing this pandemic differently, and I want to not make any assumptions about how each of us are experiencing this pandemic. You know, if you read the news, you're going to get one interpretation about how each of us is experiencing this. But if you think about what the news is, it's, you have reporters and people that are trying to aggregate the experiences of or aggregate what's happening and communicate it to so many different people, different walks of life that are having so many different experiences. And so it's useful to see, what other people are experiencing. I find that useful, but it doesn't mean that that's what you're experiencing. And so oftentimes I think we can even not really know what we are experiencing separate from what everyone else is experiencing. So I think it's useful to just step back from that sometimes and not make any assumptions about how you should be feeling, what you should be experiencing. There's no should right now. So there could be things that are difficult for you that other people aren't talking about, things that are actually going well for you that other people aren't talking about. So just try to take this time to, we'll be tapping into what you are experiencing. That's going to be important for you to have a sense of, okay? So what we're going to do is, I'm going to ask us to do, we're going to do a guided meditation. And during that time, we're going to be doing an activity as well. So I need all of us to have a paper and pencil or pen or something, but we need something to write with and write on, okay? So go ahead and grab that now. You can step away if you need to. Go grab it. I'll wait a minute. It doesn't need to be a lot of paper. I would say, one 8.5 by 11 is probably enough. You might not even need that much. Okay. All right. Okay. Great. So just have that in front of you. Have your paper and your pen, pencil just handy in front of you, but you don't need to be holding it right now. Put that down. And go ahead and, be physically comfortable right now. You can sit back in your chair. If you're very experienced, you may want to sit in a posture in which your back is straight, but you're still comfortable. You're not straining, okay? But you can also just sit back in your chair as well. So yeah, I'll just kind of let you guys decide how you want to sit. Posture is important here. And then when you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes. And just be feeling your body sitting in your chair or wherever you're sitting, in whatever posture you're in. Just be feeling the sense of your body first, just being there. So if you remember, we were talking about two things that we were going to do in this short session. One is experiential. It's being in a state of calm. And the other is more intellectual. And that is the activity that we're going to be doing. So this is the first part, and that is putting ourselves in a state of calm. And we'll invest a few minutes to do that. And the reason is that if you think about your mind as a cloud of different thoughts, interpretations, reactions, responses, we want this cloud to kind of settle. And these thoughts and emotions and sensations, they're kind of flying all over the place normally. When we have our eyes open, we're taking in so much input and data. Can't even help but react to some things. But when we close them, we kind of quiet the input stream and allow the dust to settle, if you will. So we're noticing in our body any place that our muscles are tense. And then we're just noticing that they're tense there. And as we notice, there's almost this automatic releasing of that tension. It's, we're always discovering places where our bodies are tense almost inexplicably, without any real reason. And bringing our awareness to those places just shines a light on it, nurtures that area and says, oh, you know what? No reason to be tense there. It's all good. So you can do that around your abdomen, maybe your thighs, your legs. There might be places that you don't even realize it, but there's a stiffness you want to release. A really fun area to do that is around your face, particularly your forehead. Your cheeks. I like to think of it as, when these places of stiffness are released, there's more flow. It's just your body is more limber. The muscles are more limber. And just spot checking, just going through the body and remembering your body. And of course, we could spend an hour doing this spot checking and relaxing of our muscles. It can go on, and that's very useful because it's reminding us. It's like a muscle memory. It trains our mind to remember those different parts of our body. So it's almost it can happen automatically in the future. You could spend a lot of time doing that, or one could do it several times throughout each day. Just spot check for 3 seconds. It's amazing what you can do in 3 seconds. 3 seconds is actually a long time for something like this. 1, 2, 3. That's a significant amount of time to just quickly scan our body and release things. For me personally, I find that when I release those things, I'm more connected to the world around me and my environment. I'm part of it. I'm not an actor reacting to what's happening around me. So now we've just checked in with our body. We're remembering these places, we're releasing some tension, feeling more grounded. And this is a good time to check in on our breath. It doesn't mean to change our breath. It means to rediscover our breath. And I want you to approach it with a sense of curiosity and love and self-love and wonder and gratitude. And anytime those funny little emotions or sensations pop up that judge anything, judge ourselves, judge the situation, judge me, judge the words, judge the practice, judge whatever it is. It's like a little, might not be sensing any of those, but also you might. And whatever it is totally fine. It's totally fine. And whatever it is, whatever's occurring is totally fun. Because it's we said that we're approaching this with curiosity and wonder. Wonder is a really fun state. It's a really fun perspective. You can have negative feelings and be in wonder of them. Wow, look at that. All I'm doing is sitting here breathing, and there's these cynical things popping up, or time pressure popping up. I don't have time. Is this the right thing for me right now? Is this productive? Why are we doing this? All that. It's like, wow. Just being with it. And in moments, there might be some awareness of the relationship between those thoughts, emotions, sensations, whatever, reaction, and our breath. Two things that they're supposed to be separate. They're supposed to be completely not have any relationship with each other. But you might notice something different sometimes. And that can invite us deeper into wonder. What's happening underneath our noses every day, every moment. And if we were aware throughout our day, how would we respond differently in different situations? So this state of wonder, call it calm wonder, sublime wonder, this is always accessible, right? So this is this experiential component to this session that we're doing. It's like an anchor. We're dropping anchor into this place. It doesn't have to be a deep meditation place with ambient music and waterfalls. It really doesn't. I mean, it's really a muscle memory for our mind and our bodies. And every time we take a deep breath like that, it can be a reminder of that sweet breath, fine breath, that exquisite breath. So go ahead and stay in that state as we now transition to the intellectual part, call it the intellectual part of our session. And by the way, we're probably going to go past 10:30. I hope that's okay. I mean, I shouldn't say probably. We are going to go past 10:30. I will try to keep it short, but if you need to drop off, all good. You know, put a message or feedback or anything in the Q&A before you go. If you're able to stay, that would be wonderful too. So in this state of calm, as I was mentioning, there's the possibility of having different thoughts percolate through our minds and make their way up. Thoughts that might not have a chance to see the light of day, the light of our awareness. And so they end up on the bottom of that cloud. They have feelings, insights, say, and they often are clouded by what we take in because of our days, you know, especially in an environment like this. Our days can be so full of stuff, just a lot of stuff. So we're going to take this time to allow those to come up, and we're going to capture them. And that's what I'm excited. Another part of this that I'm excited to experiment with. I do this practice a lot, but I think doing it now is going to be potentially useful. So what we're going to do is I'm going to guide us into creating that space to allow those thoughts to come up, and maybe some prompts. And when something comes up for you that is not, it could be a surprise. It could be just, oh, I never, was consciously aware of that thought. And these are not truths. That's not what we're doing. We're not doing some deep to find the truth of things. That's not what this is. This is just being aware of thoughts and just naming them, really, and emotions and feelings, and we're going to jot them down. So all of us are aware of Affinity Diagram. This is where you do an interview of some sort, some contextual interview, and we're brainstorming, and you have all these stickies and you jot them down on each note, each observation is on a sticky, and it's just like, just get it down, put it away. And since we've all done that, it's just really great. There's so much I don't have to explain, but you guys remember, volume is a useful thing. jotting down as many as you can and not judging them. This is not the time to be thinking of the best insight or like the right thought or the deep thought, anything like that. It's just a time to be aware. You're an observer, you're a researcher. You can't judge the observations. As much as possible, you need to just observe what the person's doing. And the person in this case is you. And you're observing the thoughts and the emotions that are arising. And then what you'll do is open your eyelids ever so slightly, just enough for you to see where the pen is and to see that you're writing, not over any other note. And it's just a phrase, maybe it's 5 words, 3 words, it could be 1 word about what that is. Okay, so it could be brush teeth. If you're noticing something about, there's some feeling or thought you had about brushing your teeth, and you know what that means. You don't need to write a whole big description about it, but just write enough so that later you can remember. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're collecting right now. We're going for volume in a way, right? We're just non-judgmentally going after all the things that come up. I'm gonna continue to guide us into that place, giving some prompts, and you guys, we are all going to capture those things. So as soon as you're done capturing, you close your eyes again. So you may want to just reset with a deep breath, and the deep breath here is a slow inhale through the nose and a slow exhale through the nose. So we're here in this environment of this pandemic that's going through the globe. All of our brothers and sisters experiencing this together. And there's no good or bad people in this moment. There's really just human beings, fellow human beings experiencing this and having a lot of reactions to what's happening and really what they're hearing about what's happening. Perhaps some of us have observed this with our own eyes, but I think a lot of us are really just learning from others what's happening. And there's a lot of conversation about the implications, and they are real in a sense. There are real things happening, and there's also this moment. And this moment is a time for us to step back from all that and be aware of our humanity as a human being living on this earth, in this dwelling that was built with human hands and tools. In the context of our families and our relationships we have, and the food that we eat. We get up in the morning, we have a bed, get up in the morning, it's our state of mind. We have our meals, we clean our homes. Do our chores, we think about what we're doing. Throughout our day, we have a constant choice about how to carry ourselves. Moment to moment. So in this moment, we're going to have the discipline it requires discipline to not make assumptions about what this moment is truly like for you. What is the situation that is being created for you, around you? How is your environment changing? Without judging it, without saying this is good, this is bad, working from home is good or it's bad, or it's having my kids in the house is good or bad, or having my spouse around all the time is good, or constantly judging. But right now, we're having the discipline to step back from all the judgments and just observe like a scientist objectively what is happening. And I want you to, in this moment, contrast this with your routine before the pandemic arose. So remember back 6 months ago, 3 months ago, let's just say 3 months ago. Basically, the most recent time you can remember before things really started shifting. It might be 2 months ago, but the point is just the most recent time. You were going through your routine. If you remember waking up in that routine, and feelings you were having throughout those days, and your observations and your dreams about how you wanted to live, how you wanted things to be. You had judgments at that time too, right? We had judgments about what was good or bad. People say it's hard to remember what it was like before, but let's not make that the case right now. Let's make it easy to remember, because we were doing that for years, right? So let's remember how it was to spend our evenings in that routine. Our work day, and our transitions, and our evenings, and our night times. And what did we dream about? What did we had our druthers, if we could change things, if we could, what was our intention, our greater intention about how we wanted to work and live our daily lives? So if at any time you're aware of something, because this is a time where we're taking time to think about something that we don't normally do. So this might be a time to just jot something down. After each one that you jot, close your eyes again and wait for perhaps the next opportunity, another thought. And so back now to your pandemic routine. The way you get up in the morning. Thoughts, judgments. Noting down any things you're realizing about how you're doing things now. Not good or bad, just maybe they are emotions, maybe they're judgments about it, maybe they are wishes, dreams. How you are living your your days, carrying yourself in your day, your work. What are new things coming up for you? What were different than before? And your afternoons, your evenings, how you are going to sleep at night in this environment. And the last part of this is going to be remembering your dream, remembering your values. So in this environment, there is a tendency to be reactive, can be, to even be negative about what's happening, which obviously it is occurring negative for different times of the day for different people. So that certainly can be, but it's also a big reset. It's also a big clearing. So let's not go down the path of assuming this is negative in this moment, because that can block us from remembering what our dreams are and what our intentions are. So imagine you're given a second chance to design your life, parts of your life a bit differently. What are things that you want to bring into your life, into your day? Into your family, to your relationships? What are things you thought you needed, but you realize that, oh, not that important. Not as important as I thought they were. Or things I really miss that were really important that I want to do again. So we're going to wrap up. So we have maybe a minute left of this calmness in your mind, in this space. And take that time to find the calm and capture any observations from the deep. And when you're ready, and it's complete for you, you can go ahead and open your eyes. So, one thing that I know I've learned from this is that I should not have scheduled it for half an hour, so I apologize about that. But I'm also going to explain the next step, and then we'll wrap up. The next step is going to be looking at your list of notes, observations. Might have 2, 3 things, might have 10 things. And seeing that there's a lot more where that came from. There's a lot more possibility. And now you know how to do it. So I want you to have the self-care to do this 3 times over the next week. It doesn't have to take 45 minutes. It can take 10 minutes, really can. And the motivation is that this is a very practical exercise that you can do. So do it 3 times, and then you'll have a list of these items, and then bring a friend or partner in and do your affinity mapping with all these notes that you have. You can do the stickies, and have a new outlook on what's happening right now for you personally, professionally, in this COVID environment. That I hope will be insightful for you personally and can lead to some changes, things that you want to implement in your life. So again, I'm sorry about the time. It was an experiment. I think we learned something about it. And feel free to leave any feedback, questions, comments, anything, either in the chat now or to Sarah later. I'm sure she'll send those over to me, and that'll be very helpful. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, thank you. This is great. And personally, I'm glad it went over because I think it would have been too short otherwise. I think this was amazing, and I appreciate you taking extra time. That was quite the treat. So thank you. And,
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we all thank you. And as Nina said, if you do have any questions, email me, message via email. You can put a chat right now, so we can chat. But thank you.
Yeah, I know it's been over. I'm sure people schedule things, so
yeah, that's okay. That's okay. This was great, and I am recording it, so we will have it available for those of you who want to. Nina said to practice again. We can actually do it with you again because we'll have you recorded.
Nice.
So, thanks again, Nina.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah.
All right.
Okay.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.